Today we are back in my favorite corner of the house because I have for you a very overdue cigar haul. Yes, I know my cigar family has been patiently awaiting for the next cigar video on the channel. I just came back from a trip abroad to Asia, and of course, as you know, whenever I travel, my favorite thing to do, my favorite airport pastime is to go and frequent the cigar cabinets because I feel like you get the most competitive pricing and also great stories as well with your travels. So I picked up 3 boxes, which my humidors were desperately needing because I'm running pretty low as of late. I'm always super open to trying new sticks out. So these 3 are actually new brands that I've never actually smoked before. So we're going to unbox them, talk a little bit about them. First off, of course, I want to start by talking about my experience buying at Dubai Airport. This was the first time I actually made a concerted effort to shop around for cigars. It's a huge airport, as many of you frequent travelers who have gone through that airport will know. It's a bit of a maze, to be honest. But actually, when I was departing on my way to Brunei, of all countries, I'll cover these things in more detail in the vlogs that I'm going to upload on this channel, when actually in transited through Dubai. So wanted to just pick up a box just in case, you know, I didn't have time on my return. I personally thought that Dubai had an amazing selection, especially as somebody who comes from the UK. Heathrow just has nothing. They say that they have cigars, but it's mostly cigarettes with some cigarillos, I found. And also you get those huge, disgusting smoking kill stickers. And in some other parts of the EU, of course, because of regulation, and look, I understand why, but it's just so ugly. You get all of the lungs and livers and all of that business, especially considering that all of these boxes are pretty much works of art. And I love collecting these boxes as well. So although you can remove them, it's just not a pleasant experience. And often you still get that sticky residue. So really don't like to buy in Europe. So in contrast, you go to the rest of the world, really great selection that you have of Cubans as well as New Worlds. I would say, given my, very privileged and, fortunate position that I've been to Cuba, I have actually had prices a lot lower than what I saw in the airport. So I did see some Monte Cristos, Romeo and Julietas. I think I may have seen the odd Cohiba box, but they were in the hundreds of pounds. So we're talking almost tens of thousands of AED. So it just wasn't worth it for me, at least, to buy Cubans. But of course, if you're not heading to Cuba or any of the countries in Latin America, the Americas, then obviously it could be an option for you. I, in contrast, found the New Worlds to be a lot more vast in the selection, but I've actually smoked a lot of what was on offer and I did want to try something new. I just took my time looking for at least 1 box just to take home, just in case I didn't have time on my return. And after much deliberation, I went for this box right here, which is the Arturo Fuente vintage selection. I'm a British girly, so take it with a pinch of salt. Now, this is an exquisite box, beautiful presentation. So first off, you get the little humidor packet, which I haven't actually received as part of the actual presentation and packaging. Usually they add in a Boveda sachet after the fact with your sticks, as opposed to it already being inside the box. So I think that's great. And it's a beautiful package as well, just to keep the 2-way humidity control, which we've obviously talked about in previous instances. And then we have this transparent paper, which talks a little bit more around the brand, around the cigars, the way that they age them, etc. So I will insert a cutaway of that so that I don't bore you with all the details reading it. And then you have this beautiful, almost spider web pattern of paper. You can see the cigars in question here. Oh my goodness, they are beautiful. We have 10 stunning cigars. They're New World cigars. And I'm sure for those of you out there who are a fan of premium cigars, of course, New World cigars, you all have heard of Arturo Fuente before. I have actually also smoked, I think, the odd stick or 2 from this specific brand, but I've not actually bought this vintage cigar box before. They actually, I believe, create these cigars in the Dominican Republic. So this is one of the sticks that you get. And actually, let me just open up one of these cigars so that you can have a little bit more of a close-up look as well. So of course, you have a little bit of a casing here, which can be taken off. And look at that. I love the labels. I think they are always super, super nice and really elaborate. I love the embossing too, and I always save any new sticks that I try. This is a beautiful flavor profile, super creamy as is stated, bit of chocolate notes, nut notes as well. It's got notes of cedar, of nuts, of spice as well. So it's very versatile. It's a good grab and go cigar as well because of the size, because of its kind of mild to medium bodied flavor profile. Universally, I think it's a very well respected brand. So a very safe choice to add to the collection, and very well priced, because when I tell you how much I got for these 10 cigars right here, I think a few of you might be pleasantly surprised, because of course there are some people who mistakenly believe that cigars have to always be a very expensive hobby, but that's not the case, especially not with New World cigars. I paid in dinars, which is the local currency, I believe, in the UAE. So in AED, I paid for this set of 10, 467. So in pounds, this actually equated to roughly £97.64, which is incredible. So what, you've got under £10 a stick, and in USD, that's gonna be around $127. For me personally, I always pay in the local currency. The rates are often better than if you were to accept the store's rate. So I'm super stoked to add these to the collection. It's one that I can also enjoy by myself because it will be around like a 45-minute smoke for me. But of course, this is not the only box that I got, because we actually have 2 more here. On the inbound flight back to the UK, which was over a week later, I transited again through Dubai, and it was a real kerfuffle because I honestly didn't think I was going to get much time at all, because I had like a 1 hour and 5-minute layover back to the UK. But as luck would have it, I wasn't destined to return back to the UK the same day, because Emirates decided to pull a fast one on me and bump me from my flight, even though I made it to the gate on time. But we won't talk about that because that will be covered in the extra vlogs that you'll see on the channel. Of course, there are always silver linings. That meant that the next day when I came back to the airport bright and early in the morning, I had ample time to go and peruse the cigar cabinets. It's a different terminal with different cigar selections. The first one we're going to do is the smaller box because it's on top. And this is the Padrón Family Reserve cigars. They are Nicaraguan. This is a special edition. It's celebrating 85 years. We've got all of the family signatures here, which is amazing. It is a very premium Nicaraguan cigar, and also given the price point as well, it is an incredible buy too. I love the little touches as well with the stories about the cigars, the brand, etc. So you've got some information here around the Little Hammer, which is essentially the founder's story about looking for a job and making work with a hammer, opening his cigar brand, and the fact that it's basically a family business as well, passed on through the generations, is really, really sweet. And here we have a little information slip which has the ratings of the cigars. Actually, let me just bring it up close to you by Cigar Insider, Cigar Aficionado, which is awesome. So very, very high ratings across the board year on year. And then we have the cigars in question. So you have 2 rows of 5. I've actually been naughty and have actually smoked one of these. You just can't see it. It's in the row below. I mean, yeah, you're getting that coffee smell. It's quite mildly sweet as well, because I've got my notes that I can refer to on my phone. I always have copious notes for my cigars. And you're also getting a bit of what I perceive to be like a nature smell. So that's kind of like, I don't want to say dirt in a bad way, but earthy smell. Earthy, that's the word. It's a very light body. When I smoked it, it gets fuller as you go along throughout your smoke, and it doesn't feel very ashy or too heavy. And this, in terms of AED pricing, was 1,168, which equates to around 244 British pounds, or 318 USD. So a little bit higher in price, but you are getting something a bit more limited edition as well. And me and my boyfriend absolutely loved it. So a really worthwhile purchase too. And last but not least, we have our final box here. And we have, of course, the Bossner Churchill cigars, super high quality box, and most notably one that will not get crushed in my luggage. Now I know you can of course buy cigars that are in more kind of cardboard cartons, but for me, given that I was traveling to a couple of countries, it's very important that my cigars could withstand that kind of level of intensity and not get crushed. Or I know a lot of people might not consider that to be an important factor. Of course, that's personal preference, but I thought at least when it comes to my traveling and making sure everything arrives home safely, as well as obviously a lot of these boxes can be great memorabilia, thought it'd be really great additions to the collection. And let me just take this paper out, and then we reveal the beautiful set of, again, 10 sticks of Churchill cigars. The brand is really well known for having some very unique blends in terms of their flavor profiles, their leaves, etc., but of course known for high quality craftsmanship. So they've actually got a really interesting heritage, if you will. They are actually potentially a German brand, and what gives me that suspicion, at least on the papers, they have Esteli, which is Nicaragua, Santiago, which is Chile, so they have a combination there, as well as Berlin, and their website says DE. Of course, I bought this without having any internet signal at the airport, so I just went on a whim. I spoke to the sales associate, who was super helpful, super lovely, and recommended this one, especially for my boyfriend, who likes a bit of a longer smoke. Deeper smoke, fuller bodied as well. This is a very deep, earthy flavor profile. They have notes of coffee, dark chocolate. So this one should be a really nice, full flavor cigar to smoke. So let me just show you. We've got the limited edition band as well on the bottom. This one, of course, is going to be for a long, leisurely smoke. On the nose, it's really giving some spicy notes. Really like chili, spicy notes. Dark chocolate, definitely, I can smell too. Really beautiful. And again, for this kind of high quality craftsmanship, for this limited edition box of Churchills, I paid a really competitive price too. In fact, of the other two boxes, this one is slap bang in the middle in terms of the pricing. So in terms of AED, I paid 800 for this box of Churchills, which roughly translates to 167 British pounds or 217 USD. So very competitive again, considering that you're getting a Churchill, that's a lot of value for money. And if we do the comparison, just so that you can see the sizes, let me bring all three up to show you. So it's like Goldilocks, isn't it? You've got the three bears. So of course we've got the Arturo Fuente, we have got the Padrón in the middle, and then we have the Bossner Churchill at the end. So three Newells, but very different flavor profiles, different lengths of smoke. With all of that being said, that concludes the cigar haul for today. I do hope you enjoyed it. I do try, of course, to update on my Instagram, so do go over there and say hello. If there are other smokes that I should try or others in the community should have a look at, leave them down below. I'm sure everybody would be really interested. Anyways, that was everything that I wanted to talk about today. Thank you as always for watching, and I will catch you in my next one.